Hello everybody, my name is Ito. I'm happy to bring you the ESEA MDL Season 32 relegation match between Bushido BOYZ and Rebirth Esports. Both of these teams have had a pretty lackluster MDL season so far, and they're fighting to keep their life on the line here. It is going to be a best of three. First two maps are known that it is going to be Nuke and Mirage. From there, though, it's kind of a question mark. And speaking of question marks, I have a little bit of question mark for what Rebirth Esports are trying to do here because they aren't checking for Jonah, who's able to find two completely for free. Finally, he goes down in the end, but that's two crucial kills. Plus, he stayed alive for such a long time, so he's going to be able to guarantee that bomb plant down and guarantee those rotates in as well. CTs can now take their time. They don't really have to rush the situation, but if they do, they're still going to find the frags nonetheless here. It's a 2 versus 4. And there's still plenty of time for the CTs to start pushing in. Frosty K is the one to keep an eye on here because he does have the kit. Magician can't win any duels versus Shank here, and Bushido BOYZ just overrun Rebirth Esports on this pistol round here. Nice quick defuse as well, and that'll be the first one on the board for Bushido BOYZ. We see an immediate pause come through. Really, I think Shank was absolutely huge on that match. He was one of my players to watch, as we quickly pointed out. I had to kind of rush my way back into this game. I was not expecting for IPs to be open, but, you know, I saw an opportunity. You have to go ahead and capitalize on it, I suppose. And, well, I guess you can say Bushido BOYZ did exactly that, winning the pistol round very convincingly, I should say, only dropping one player. And that one player was Jonah P, who's still able to go off massively for his team, picking up 2 kills before finally going down. Bushido BOYZ will have another choice if they want to buy into this one. Rebirth Esports, considering they had the bomb down, seem to be a little bit hesitant if they want to buy into this one. Perhaps that's why they were calling the pause. If they got bombed down, I don't see really a reason with this new T-side economy why you shouldn't go for just a full force, because you would have about the same economy as the CTs, and you know, being able to break the CTs early on would be absolutely monumental. But again, they're the ones playing an MDL relegation, excuse me. Fun little pause come through there. It's going to go ahead and talk about things. Or perhaps it's technical. I would imagine it's technical because of how long this is taking. Did take a little bit of time for them to actually get into this game. And Rebirth, I got you. Don't worry. Have to jump out the opportunity when it presents itself. Rebirth didn't exactly have the strongest pistol round to speak of, but they're hoping to come out on top of this one. Who's my prediction for the Genji 5th? Man, I have to go ahead and take a look at the roster one more time. Let's see. I know it's Kusta, Som. Can't remember the other two, dude. Daps Automatic. Well, they have an Opper, they have IGL. Coach Elmo Putty, I like that. I'm hoping that it's... Okay, well, their goal is to bring home another major for North America, so that means that we're most likely not going to be seeing Steel as much as I would love to see him, but I guess it wouldn't make sense with Daps anyway. Honestly, it's kind of a huge question mark. If they're going with Som, I wouldn't be surprised if they go for something crazy and, you know, pick up an MDL player. I honestly would have to think about that one a little more. I have no idea. Back into the subject of tonight, it is going to be Rebirth Esports deciding to go for a Desert Eco. Jonah P, interestingly enough, he still has a USP into this round, choosing not to buy up a lot into this. It's not exactly something that's completely unseen. You see people like Flusha doing this sort of thing. He managed to ace Team Liquid when he bought only a pistol. Magician's eating a lot of dangerous damage over towards ramp side here. Already not exactly a very nice outlook for Rebirth Esports here as we enter the last minute of the round, and Rebirth have found nothing. What a bit of spam damage from Picky as well. Keeps the Bushido BOYZ healthy. It seems like Rebirth Esports don't exactly know what they want to do here. They have yet to retrieve the bomb. Stamina will go ahead and just do that. But there's no outside control for Rebirth Esports right now, so they're forced to go inner. And that is exactly what Bushido BOYZ want. There's still time for them to make a move here. If they can guarantee a bomb plant, that would be huge. As they start all grouping up around Hut, maybe they'll have a change of plans, though. Couple of flashes comes out. Thanks to Devine going ahead and trying to do the magic. It's Jonah who actually picks up the first, but not a second, because everyone else is cleaning up. Stamina is the only one able to find a consolation frag of any sort. Everyone else just whittles away in a moment's notice as Bushido BOYZ make it a quick 2-0, only again dropping one player. It was Zeptic this time around, but I mean, he was still able to line his pockets relatively well, thanks to the magic of that MP9. Nick, I have to say, what's your prediction for the Gen G 5th? It has to be maybe someone that I wouldn't think of. See, that outer control is going to be taken from Rebirth Esports if they decide to buy into this one. So they were quiet on the second, hopefully trying to make some noise on the third here. Shunk, well, gets domed immediately. That's already some noise being made for him. They quickly take care of the player to watch for Bushido BOYZ here. Picky, you have to be careful. You're playing with fire here, sometimes literally, as he's going to be walking right into the firing range of Rebirth Esports here. They struggle to get the kill, but it's a kill confirmed. That'll be Stamina, only on 6 HP, going ahead and trying to escort his teammates over towards the B bomb site where they will get that bomb down. Guaranteed, and at the very least that allows Rebirth to have another buy into this round, even if things go horribly wrong and Bushido BOYZ come out on top. But they're looking for the round win, and they're perfectly primed to do it. It's a 3 versus 5, and I don't think the CTs, yeah, they want absolutely none of this. They're just going to go ahead and try to save towards the T-spawn, probably their safest choice to do at this current moment. Both of these teams fighting for their MDL life. You can't help but feel that they have to take things safe and take things slow, because their money is surprisingly not that great, considering that they only dropped 2 players this entire game so far. Shazam, really? I'm not sure. I don't know. I don't know how to feel about Shazam picking up that 5th spot. I'm guessing that's what you mean by Shaz. That would be interesting, but speaking of interesting, Rebirth Esports are making this interesting on round number 2. Bushido BOYZ are going to force up everything that they possibly can, and Jonah P, that time where he only decided to buy a USP, is starting to pay off in dividends. Same thing with the pushes from Frosty K, going to immediately tag down Magician and put him out of this round. Devine is only on about half HP as well. Makes him a little bit of a liability against the CTs here. Puts him within 1 hit headshot range of some of these rifles that the CTs are currently working with. And I like that adjustment that Bushido BOYZ did. You know, they didn't exactly have a ton of money to work with, hence they saved those 3 rifles. And whatever they do have, they'll be happy to work around it. Go for some aggressive pushes early on to force Rebirth Esports' hand. They're looking prime. However, the game is still young. We could see something crazy happen from Rebirth Esports here. Seems that they just want to immediately go down over towards B. They're faking the A execute, but they've actually gone down to the lower site, and that gives them a lot to play with here. Jonah P receives them perfectly, though. Takes down 1. That's a bomb carrier down. This needs to be quickly traded out by Shoker, though, and he seems to be struggling to do it. He has to go for a safe plant, and Jonah P, he has no clue of where the person is. He's still holding the line here. If he can get the bomb carrier, that would be huge. Stamina has actually managed to go massive, though, picking up a double kill. This makes it a winnable round for Rebirth Esports, even though things were going perfectly for Bushido BOYZ. Stamina, he gets another kill for his trouble, but Jonah P, who actually hasn't stuck the bomb, will go ahead and learn from his mistake, try doing it again, but Stamina, surely going to be going for this. No! He doesn't peek in time! He's going to be able to get the defuse. He goes down in the end, sure, but it's a hollow victory. All those kills that Stamina got seem to be in vain, as Jonah P is a 6 to defuse in the end, and wins the round for Bushido BOYZ, who I think is going to win the best of 3 wing. Well, I have to say, even before this game, I was going to have to give the edge to Bushido BOYZ, and, well, with how Rebirth are playing this right now, I'm going to have to say I still think that way. Shank, He wants to chase his victory even more. It's massive, a triple kill with Jonah's flash coming in handy as well. He gets 4 before finally getting exterminated. It's Stamina left alone, and he has no choice other than possibly save this gun, lest he face the wrath of the remaining Bushido boys. What an incredible push out towards Red Box, completely caught Rebirth off guard, and that was on their gun round as well. These pushes from Bushido boys, even though it's early on Nuke, they've been incredible for catching all these players off guard. It was 1 player last time, this time it's 3. They seem to be getting exponentially more and more lethal as time goes on. Stamina, he will live to tell the tale most likely. He still has to save this gun for another minute. You can see the dead chat going off right now for Rebirth Esports. Surely they're going to talk about how frustrating that round was. And can you blame them? Indeed, looks like Stamina is going to be perfectly content trying to save. Or is he? I just realized he does have the bomb in hand. Does he actually want to go for a plant here? I thought it was going to be too risky. He has no clue on where any of the Bushido boys are currently located. He might learn the hard way. Oh my goodness, Picky might have learned just the wrong time. He throws a smoke and a Molotov. Cover his path and make things a little more confusing. But 15 seconds, time is not in his favor. Stamina gets 1 kill, and he's pretty sure that's the only defender on the B site here, so he should be guaranteed another plant here. He goes for the fake, but he can't be doing it a second time here. He's going to be forcing the fight, but it will force his death, if anything. All things considered, though, not a terrible attempt from Stamina. He's currently sitting at 7-3, the top on his team by a good margin. Again, the game is still young, and Battery, he struggled a little bit, to say the least. But a 1-on-3, nearly got the bomb down. I feel like it would have been in his best interest to try to save, or excuse me, just try to plant the bomb, because he gave up the Krieg as a result, and that gives people like Shank something to work with. It's actually Frosty K who has picked it up. Shank, nevertheless, still holding outside. Jonah P, good spam over towards mid. He's actually able to find a double. The only one to be able to take him down is his own teammate, is Shank. He gets on the board in just all the wrong ways here, as it's quickly put into 3 versus 3. Zepic has gone down as well. Post-plant positions are, or excuse me, not post-plant, late round positions are relatively good from Bushido boys right now. As Picky slowly pushing up through Secret. Shoker pushing in towards Big Garage, unfortunately loses his life. There's no capitalization upon that. Magician will now do his best to try to keep his team alive, but he's burning alive slowly. Looks towards a Garage player, but they will not abide yet. Bushido boys are playing this so safe right now. They don't have a lot of good stuff to really write home about this round. They have a player with a Krieg, that's Magician, but he's half HP. It's most likely going to be, I would imagine Battery is going to be the one to take the Krieg here, and they're just going to go ahead and try to play contact or trade or something like of the sort. As the door opens up here, Frosty K, he's still sitting behind the Krieg. It's Picky who does all the work for his team here, drops a bomb carrier with one fell swoop as they try making their way down the vent, but the second player in Magician isn't there. And, well, when he does show his face, he's not ready for Picky. Ready, willing, and able. That'll be another round on Bushido boys. They seem to be cruising early on the CT half of Inferno. Or Inferno, jeez, wrong map entirely. I was looking at the vetoes and I saw that Rebirth removed Inferno, so I'm pretty sure that's why. But this is the pick of Rebirth Esports here. We really need to start seeing something interesting soon out of them, though. It is T-side, or excuse me, it is a CT-sided map, but I'm not really sold on anything that Rebirth are doing. And it seems like I'm not going to see much this round either. Shunk immediately takes down actually one player, but he goes down as well. So the trades are pretty good. But the bad news starts right about there, as they don't get a single player otherwise. I thought the trades were going to be a little more convincing, considering they seem prime on their locations, but no, it's just another giveaway round from Rebirth Esports here. They're going to have another gun round into this one here, and it's going to be a very healthy one at that. Maybe this will give them something to work with. Looks like not taking exactly the strongest outer control, and it might come back to bite them. There's two players set outside here. It's Frosty K and Shunk. Frosty K, I think his position towards red box is given away. At the very least, they're onto it, but I'm not sure if they're ready for Shunk. He could be potentially lethal for them. And yeah, just like that, Frosty K goes down. But are they expecting the second player? This could be potentially dangerous. Shunk, he's had a really good game so far. 127 ADR in this half. Rebirth Esports, they don't seem to want to abide him just yet. They have two players outside. Make it 3-4. They're all gathering up. This could potentially be do or die in this round here. Shunk, oh, he's careful not to pull the trigger just yet. He comes up from behind and picks up a double. Nearly a triple. Stamina keeps him alive. But that's, again, the end of the good news for Rebirth Esports because they're dropping players left and right here. These pushes from Bushido BOYZ are so incredible. I feel like they've been doing them every single round so far on the CT side, and Rebirth Esports, they're just not ready for it. Devine keeps things alive, and so does Battery. They're both low in HP, 24 between the two, and Picky, it's not looking a lot healthier for him. Eventually the trades come through, and Rebirth Esports get it on the board, despite the heroics of Shunk picking up that massive double outside. The rest of his team aren't able to win any duels of the sort. And that'll be a second, finally. Long awaited. But we need to see a lot of those, or a lot more of those, and a lot more convincing as well from Rebirth, because I feel like now's the time where they should start getting back into this game. 6 rounds immediately without, I mean, not much more than a whimper from Rebirth Esports is kind of scary. Looking to take early outer control into secret. They go. Magician is the first. Stamina right behind him takes a little bit of spam, and their push stops right there because there's a smoke from the CTs. Zeptic drops it and then backs off his position, maybe causing the T's to think a little bit. Devine, I'm not sure if he was spotted by Jonah. I don't believe he was. I think he's safe for now. They'll all rotate outside. Wherever they go together. They go as one. They seem to be wanting to double back. Half-second thoughts about pushing the secret. Zeptic, he got no tag from that spam through the smoke. He might be on to the fact that Rebirth Esports have other plans here. Indeed, look at that. They're going to be pushing in through Garage, possibly over to Hell into Heaven. I would imagine Frosty K, he will be ready on it in case you want to go for the more sneaky approach. Ladder could be his real problem. Stamina, slowly working his way up. This definitely seems prime to be in a push. They could take this from multiple different angles if they so wanted to. What a fantastic flash from Chuk. I'm not exactly sure. I'm probably butchering his name, but they're butchering all of the CTs, apparently, as well. It seems to be exactly the same way around, though. Battery's left alive in a 1-on-3, only finds one. And these are some very strange rounds coming out from both teams, in all honesty. I thought that was primed to be another Rebirth Esports round, considering they found that perfect entrance onto the A site. But it fell apart in a moment's notice, losing duel after duel. Shoker? Alright, thank you so much on that. I really don't want to keep butchering that name. I saw it on the HLTV match page, and I'm like, oh, I don't know if I can pronounce that. Shoker, though. Threw the God Flash to take care of the player who was stuck in heaven. Lost his life. It's an unfortunate way to end a round. If you're a fan of Rebirth Esports, Bushido BOYZ still looking clean on the CT side here. It feels like every time Rebirth Esports are able to respond with a round, Bushido BOYZ do them one better and go for something crazy. It wasn't even like an insane push that we saw from Bushido BOYZ, though. It just felt like they were playing so patient, waiting for Rebirth to start pushing into the A site, and as soon as they did, they just lost every single duel imaginable. And this is the kind of patented aggression that we've seen a lot from them this half, and it continues as Jonah and Frosty push through ramp nearly towards lobby. But the action is elsewhere. Oh my god, coming in from behind Picky. How's he already gotten here? He picks up 2 plus the bomb carrier, and it's just bad news across the board here. Battery, he's stuck alone immediately, 1-on-5. This is unbelievable. They just drop immediately. Sure, that was an eco round from Rebirth Esports. It wasn't a given for them to win that by any stretch of the imagination. But losing it in that fashion is... that's something else entirely. What are my opinion on these two teams? In all honesty, I talked and I casted with the coach of Rebirth Esports, Nart, a bit earlier on in a couple of games that we were doing for Recon 5, and he seemed really confident in his team to expect a lot of them. So, in all honesty, I don't feel like Nuke was a map for them to pick. Rebirth Esports, they said that they got slapped by, I believe it was Thunder Logic last time they tried it, and they don't seem to be having much better luck this time around. Though it looks like they want to change their luck. Stamina finds it first immediately. It's a 4 versus 5 favoring Rebirth. Let's see if they can do something with this. I'll get back to my predictions on the match a little bit later, but more, I'm interested in what BUSHIDO BOYZ have stuck into this, because they're not winning any duels like they were last time until Jonah P tries changing things, picks up a quick double, backs off his position while still staying alive here. The trade is not through from Rebirth Esports as they're rotating their way in towards heaven, burning away from the smoke, nearly loses his life, but Shank keeps him in things as well. As the push comes out towards the A site, 2 versus 2. Things are going to be kind of interesting right now. Jonah P surely is going to be losing his life here. An op duel versus a player coming up towards... Oh my god, they're right... Are you kidding me with this? They're right next to each other. Are you guys serious right now? They're right next to each other. Jonah P's going to be able to get into the site, and Battery, he nearly loses his life because of it. Shoker, he comes through. It might have been Shoker the Choker for a while, but Battery, that's good for a while. We didn't see Shoker the Choker. That was... something. Rebirth Esports get their third on the round, but it's not without a couple of question marks coming through. That was unbelievable. I want to see that one on Reddit. I feel like I've seen that in so many games that I've casted. I don't know why. Maybe I just get lucky or unlucky, however you want to look at it. But it favors Rebirth in the end, despite that possible flubber, however you want to call it. I'm, you know, stuttering over my words as well. Rebirth Esports, they seem to look a lot better in these past couple of rounds. They seem to be closing the gap, if just a little, between BUSHIDO BOYZ. They're not winning these rounds in the most convincing of fashions. You know, it's 2 versus 2s that they end up winning, thanks in part to some of the crazy mistakes that people like Jonah have done. Make sure to check all your corners when pushing in through heaven. Quick B rotate comes through. See Jonah P and Picky are both set up in position. However, when it comes to Rebirth Esports, where are you going? They have second thoughts about pushing into the A site when they start meeting the guns of the CTs, but they're not ready for Jonah. It feels like he's still stuck in heaven from where he was last round. The bomb is planted safely. Battery doesn't pre-aim the angle and loses his life because of it. Stuck in heaven will be Picky and Frosty K. They're all lumped up together here. This is such a strange push from the CTs, but it just might work out. They have the man advantage. And Stamina's so low on HP, he doesn't win the duel. It's up to Devine. He actually wins the first. There's still 2 more players to go. The spam is pretty good, but it gives away his position more than anything. And he loses his life, making it another one on the board for BUSHIDO BOYZ. It's a 10-second defuse that still works out for them. The only person with a kit was Frosty K, who decided not to go for it. On the side of BUSHIDO BOYZ, just looking at the scoreboard, you see Jonah and Shank have been doing incredible work for their team. 15 and 18 kills for them respectively. Stamina, he's sitting at 12, double what anyone else on his team has. So just looking at the sheer numbers, you have to see that BUSHIDO BOYZ seem to be kind of outclassing Rebirth so far on Nuke. This is the map pick of Rebirth Esports as well, so you're going to want to hope for something a little more convincing out of them. We've seen glimpses of life. I mean, it's not that they can't win duels. It just seems that they struggle to do it sometimes. But, I mean, the rounds that they have won have been off the back of, you know, crazy good aiming strats. It seems like they just keep trying to execute over and over, and it's working to varying degrees. But as for what needs to be changed up, I'm not really sure. I want to see something a little more happen towards ramp. Seems that, again, they're just going to be going for their favorite strat of going in towards A, where there's a player already out on site. What is going on? Check your angles! Septic just takes down 2 of them immediately. Shank chimes in with 1 kill of his own. It's Shoker and Stamina alone, 2 versus 2 here. It's not, you know, there's still a light at the end of this tunnel, but it's quickly fading as a player on 1 HP drops. Stamina's again left alone in another clutch scenario. He's going to need to make it 14 kills to his name if he wants to go ahead make this a win for his team. He does pretty damn good. Taking down Jonah on the first. He actually gets one! This is unbelievable! He nearly gets a second! I cannot believe he got that first kill in the first place. That should have been a kill. Shouldn't have been a kill at all, but you take what you can get, I suppose. That is an expensive round for Bushido boys. They make their way to double digits. That was kind of crazy to look at. It was close in so many situations from Rebirth Esports here, but they aren't able to get the pieces together. That hit for 10 HP, though. I guess I didn't even pay attention on his health, did I? There's a quick ramp play that I was talking about. Frosty K, he's just going to have a nice day at the shooting range, though. He picks up a double. He nearly had another lineup ready for him, but unfortunately the trades were through. Jonah P on the back foot will just try to stay alive for now, and Zeptic will finish up the job. 2 players dropping, but it's another quick round on the board for Bushido boys as they enter the last one of the half. Rebirth Esports, they look gone on this T side. And again, you really do have to want to be, you definitely do want to hope for something a little more out of Rebirth here. We've seen a lot of teams struggle on this T side throughout Advance as well as MDL. Because again, it is a CT-sided map, but it feels like Bushido boys just haven't been punished for a lot of this aggression that they're going for. Even when they, you know, lose some risky duels, they don't seem to get punished. It's a change of fate, though, as they drop 2 players, 3 players, 4 players immediately off the bat. This is looking convincing from Rebirth. It's a, what the hell is that from Shunk? He actually gets a kill on the battery. Nearly a second one as well. Oh, God, he's actually giving them a chance in this round. It's not the end of the world for them. It's the last round of the half, so economy is nothing to worry about, and he finally loses his life. These are just some very strange rounds, honestly. I don't know. I feel like both of these teams are just going for some really crazy stuff. You know, players seem to be ending up in places where they shouldn't be and dropping just as quickly. In the very end, though, Rebirth Esports make it 4. Considering that they were favored heading into this matchup here, they seem to kind of have a slow start. I want to look at their win history on Nuke here. Because, again, I did talk to Nart a little bit earlier, and he did feel comfortable with his team. Both of these teams have a 5-map history on Nuke, both of them at 60% win rate as well. I'm surprised that they didn't go for a Mirage, because Bushido boys, they only have a 20% win rate on it in 5 maps, while Rebirth have 50 in 4. And it's not the biggest sample size by any means, but it seems to be a lot more welcoming than what Bushido boys have here, because they seem to be running all over Rebirth on Nuke here. This is still map 1 of potentially 3. And these maps, and these rounds, these halves can really go either way at this point. Fido might be bugged. Yes, I understand second map is Mirage, but that was a pick of Bushido boys. Third map, not 100% sure. And pick swapped. I figured that, but the side choice is what is what's catching me off guard. Because it seems like a Rebirth Esports, they decide to start on the CT half? Or they decide to start on the T half? Which kind of seems a little bit strange considering how they're playing on it. They're going to have their choice and their selection on map number 3 if it goes the distance, but right now, Rebirth, they need to start waking up. They don't have to worry about any knife rounds for now. That's a little bit later. Gonna need to wake up on Nuke here, and it all starts on the CT side for them here. Bushido boys, they just want to take things immediately over towards ramp. They're just completely smorking this one here. Battery spots face of 1 and will quickly back up over towards radio. Try to go ahead and take a little more favorable duels, but Bushido boys, they've gone ahead and pulled around. They've wrapped around this entirely. They're trying to take duels outside against CTs here. This, theoretically, you would imagine this would favor the CTs a lot more, but it doesn't seem to be the case here. Things are brought to reality just a little bit here as it's an even situation. Minute and 20 left to work with here. Time is no object. Bushido boys, looks like they want to take things in towards heaven, which might be their best case here. They drop another player. That's Jonah P picking up 1 with a Glock. 2 on 3. Devine desperately needs to find another pick. Because Rebirth Esports, they need to win this pistol here, or their forecast is looking dangerous here. That's a good shot from Devine, keeping things alive for Rebirth Esports, perhaps, as they start pushing their way out through Hut. It's going to be Battery again, left alone, though. In another clutch scenario, finds the first, struggles to get the second. Jonah P does the same, so he's going to go ahead and reload, try to take another fight in a more favorable advantage. Battery still missing these shots. He struggles in the end and loses his life. The pistol DM, unfortunate for him, allows Bushido Boys to go up on 12, and that makes them inch ever closer and closer to this finish line on Nuke here. Nothing seems to be working out for Rebirth right now. Hopefully they look to find a new life here. These clutches are a struggle for them. Surely a change of fate is what they need. They're going to be quickly going down vent. Or at least one player is going to be quickly going down vent. And Frosty K on Bushido Boys. No one's there to receive him, though. Oh my god, Stamina. The timing is so good for him. Unbelievable. That could not have been better timed if he tried. Stamina is able to get past. So that's potentially an in for him if he plays his cards right. But he can't exactly depend on that sort of thing. A smoke and flash comes through. So that's his position given away immediately. That might allow Bushido Boys to go ahead and rotate, think about things, and play it a little bit slower. It's just going to be a train into the A site here. First face is going to be the way of Dean, excuse me. Next player to drop will be Magician. Finally, Shoker responds with a kill. It's only going to be one kill. And they just drop one by one, dropping like flies. No such luck for them on this force-up round either. Rebirth Esports are going to give up another. The first face is Dren. Oh, jumping double from, I don't know, Jonah? Maybe Jonah would be the one to get a jumping double. Realistically, who would have the most luck in this, you know? Because they seem to be having all the luck going their way right now. You know, actually, if I had to guess, it'd probably be Stamina who had the luck. I cannot believe he had the perfect timing on that one player to not die. Stamina has to be careful on what duels he's taking, though, because the CZ RNG doesn't exactly seem to be working out perfectly for him. No one dies to the bomb as well, and, well, it's the end of the line for Rebirth Esports there. They don't even manage to save a CZ armor. All their silver linings on Nuke here have completely dissipated. Magician is only sitting out 4 frags, 18 rounds into the game now. Rebirth, they're not even going for a nade setup here. They're just going to be trying to smork all the way towards outside. But the T's, they're going elsewhere here. They do have a couple of players committed towards outside, but they're all losing their life here. Frosty K and Zeptic both chime in with kills of their own, and the CTs have rotated towards inner as a result. Really, you can't expect them to get a lot of magic out of this round, but you're hoping for a kill, maybe a bomb plant to get really lucky. Shank is in the perfect position to do it, considering there's no one from Rebirth Esports to welcome him. That's going to force the hand of the CTs even more, as if it wasn't tough enough for them already. Right now, you just have to imagine they're going to be going for some exit kills or something of the sort. Spam nets nothing, not even a point of damage. But again, there's pretty much no reason not to go for something a little more aggressive. Just try to trap the CTs or the Ts into the site. But they again drop one by one. And Stamina even misses the shots into the player turned around. The hardest people to hit are the people who aren't looking at you. I stand by that rule. And it seems to be proving true. Rebirth Esports completely lost on Nuke now. They have to hope for something magical because it sure as hell hasn't shown up for them. Jonah sitting at 23-7, Shank 23-11. Both of these players have done incredible. Rebirth will finally get some guns on the board here. Molotov out towards red box. Shoker. Being careful over towards credit card. The first player to go down will actually be Jonah P, one of the top fraggers. That's a good start. Exactly what you want to see. Stamina will quickly trade over his AWP to Shoker. Let him have a shot at it as he holds down CT alone. There's still a long way to go here. Bushido Boys, they kind of treated this one as a bonus round. They have triple Galils and an AWP and Zeptic. Surprisingly, no AKs or even a Krieg on the board. Magician is playing with fire here as he might be walking right out into the firing line. He's actually granted a triple right off the bat. That's perfect positioning. Plays off fantastically for him as he's looking for a fourth. He pushes through the smoke, loses his life just as quickly as he got the triple before. And finally, Magician gets on the board. Hey, what's up, Tessie? How you doing? Oh my goodness, Frosty. Oh, I like that. He's just going to throw his AWP out the map here. Doesn't want to give Rebirth Esports anything to work with. He's downgraded to a Galil. Not exactly perfect. Frosty K. What are you going to work with? Hey, what's up, Conti? How you doing? Just watching BUSHIDO BOYZ, for the most part, walk all over Rebirth Esports. Showing a little bit of signs of life, though, so don't worry. It's a 1-on-4, and Frosty obviously is not going to go for this. Maybe he can just try to get an exit frag or something of the sort. With battery, he's onto it, immediately takes him down. And finally, that's 5. It's something that's eluded Rebirth for so long, but that's the start of a comeback if you really, feel crazy enough to be up for the challenge. Nothing seems to have been working out for them so far, but a gun round like that on the board is a perfect start. Only dropping 1 player through it as well, and that player got 3 kills for the price of 1. It's a pretty good trade. I like those odds. Rebirth Esports still yet to wake up, but they're still showing signs of life by any means. By no means, rather. Are they out of it? BUSHIDO BOYZ will go ahead, try to take things outside for the time being. As Shoker, and actually, excuse me, it's Battery to find the kills. Excuse my language. He's got fucked up. Battery's still holding down ramp alongside his teammates. BUSHIDO BOYZ, that push towards ramp fell flat on their face almost entirely there. Battery will go ahead, toss out a nice smoke, but he might be granted another kill as he searches for it. Doesn't quite get the double up that he was hoping for. It's Frosty K left alone, but he has a teammate in stamina left there to keep him alive, keep him fresh, and trade him out if worse comes to worse, but worse won't come to worse. Another round going the way of Rebirth here. It's a little bit better for them. It's another convincing round win for them. I need to stop saying for them because that's going to drive me crazy, and it's such an annoying caster pick. BUSHIDO BOYZ going to be stuck on the pistols for this one. Most likely just going to be looking for the bomb down. There's no reason for them to force into this one, really. If they wanted to, they could go, Desert Eagles or something of the sort, but again, no reason. Shoker will find the first phase and the second one as well. That's a nice follow-up. Collecting eco frags. Why not pad the stats just like that? A triple for him. And it all falls flat for BUSHIDO BOYZ. Again, it's an eco round. Not really too much you can expect out of that one. It just looks pretty for the statistics to collect a triple like that. But now, they'll have another stab at it. This time, a lot more upgrades. Push into heaven here. Battery alongside his teammate Shoker. They've actually rotated over towards Ender. Shank is down to 1 HP. The player who was holding outside decided to go a completely different direction this time around. And it already pays off in the form of Shank literally being on a single point of health. That is such a massive liability now for his team. Definitely going to be trying to use some of this utility. Hopefully just, set his team up for an A execute or something of the sort, because there's no way you can expect him to, come out on top of many, if any, duels here. He could die to a decoy. There's the smokes towards inner, but the pushes are going towards the other way entirely here. Stamina, stuck in Big Garage here, is going to be watching for any mini prods, but it's actually going the opposite way, the opposite site entirely here. Stamina hears all of it, though, and will alert his teammate Battery, who will set down a warning smoke, perhaps. BUSHIDO BOYZ, they aren't warded off just yet. Shank is going to be trying to play more of a entry frag role. That way he can get quickly traded out by his teammates, but Battery is ready for it. And this might be the perfect position to shut down the BUSHIDO BOYZ and make it an 8th for Rebirth. Can't count your chickens before they hatch, though, because the push hasn't actually began yet. It will start initiating soon enough, but Bean will find the first kill. It's quickly traded out by Picky. That's a fantastic bomb, though. Excuse me. It just goes down right on top of Jonah and Picky. As Jonah only has 62 to work with. His teammate has fallen. Shonk finds another. That's onto Magician, and looking away at all the wrong times. Nothing is working out for them in this post plant. Shonk gotta force his face. Actually finds enough double tap. And what was that? Frosty K and Shonk combine. 2 kills apiece. Make it another round for Bushido boys. They inch ever closer now. Only 1 round away from bringing this over to Mirage and closing out Rebirth Esports' map pick with a 16-7 victory potentially. They're on the verge of doing it, but again, you can't count Rebirth out of it just yet. They're not out of the woods, Bushido boys. They still could definitely lose this round and, you know, be stuck on a low economy if they don't get the bomb down. It all depends on how convincingly, if they win this round. They stay alive, and it's a good adjustment for Shonk that he doesn't get tagged down to a single point of health. That's one of the few things that seem to be going well for Rebirth. But they can't seem to gloat. Next map is going to be Mirage, Woody. Third map, I'm not exactly sure of. I can't seem to find it on HLTV. Couple of grenades go through. Magician will be right behind it. He doesn't hear the vent drop, though. That'll be up for his teammate to have to deal with a little bit later. Shoker is going to be possibly the first point of contact, but he might be a little late on the draw here because they've already made their way up towards site here, and Zeptic quickly eliminates him. The Galil is actually the thing that managed to win that duel. That's absurd. There's still one player waiting over towards lobby. Everyone else on Bushido boys is out towards the B site, though. Bomb planted safely, and this is looking prime for Bushido boys to close things out here. I don't see a world in which they lose this post plant. It's going to require a miracle from Rebirth here. That, or they'll have to be reborn on Mirage, which is not their choice of map. But they're going to be forced onto it no matter how they want to, because they're not winning almost any duels. Stamina shows a little bit of life, but again, he just gets disjointed, immediately taken care of, and it's going to be Bushido boys running over Rebirth on Nuke there. Winning it in style, that's how you want to do it. We are going to go ahead, wow, immediately tossing it over to map number 2, but I'm going to toss it to a quick break real quick before we head into the next match, just so I can go ahead, get some water, and use the bathroom. And let me go ahead and just update my nice little overlay real quick. Bushido boys, what a dominant victory for them. We'll see you guys very, very soon. My name has been Ito. And if you guys have a Twitch Prime, don't be afraid to use it if you guys like cat emotes. Anyway, doesn't matter. I don't want to plug myself too much. We'll see you guys soon. Here we go with map number 2 here. Rebirth Esports definitely on the back foot after losing their map pick 16-7. Hopefully trying to change the tides of the potential war of attrition that they're in for here. Bushido BOYZ seem to be firing on all cylinders. In particular, Jonah P and Shank both looked incredible in map number 1 here. And they're looking to go ahead, try to repeat history as they want to save their spot in MDL. Devine might have to deal with a pretty tough situation though, because Picky seems primed to push out towards Palace there, and he has a teammate to do it with. Actually, excuse me, he's going to find the first kill nonetheless, so that was over towards ramp. I'm surprised. That didn't seem like the most coordinated push in the world, but they're able to get frags nonetheless here. The trades don't seem to be favoring anyone in particular. Oh, that is gorgeous, though, from Bushido BOYZ. I loved how they played that. They just waited and did contact over towards the A site, waiting for those CTs to rotate, selling the B fake, and it worked out perfectly for them. It's Stamina left alone. He has a kit to do it with if there's anyone, after seeing how he did in map number 1 here. Top fragger on his team. It would be him, but no such luck for him. That was gorgeous from Bushido BOYZ. I love that. The timing seemed to work out so perfectly for them, and it ended up netting them a perfect round win and a perfect pistol victory, keeping up that seemingly flawless form that Bushido BOYZ have been doing, or putting up so far, I should say. Rebirth Esports shoots by into this one, though. Stamina and battery. Both opting for scouts. Otherwise, it's Deagles and then a single. Actually, nothing. It's just nothing from Shoker. He's just going to be stuck on his USP here. Didn't want to invest any money into it. The AWP. Froste, that flash hit yourself more than it hit the enemy, but it doesn't matter when you get killed like that, I suppose. He's going to immediately dome down Devine. And Stamina isn't looking a lot better for Ware as well. He's forced to rotate over to the A site where all the action for Bushido BOYZ is happening, apparently, because they're actually going to push their way all the way to the CT spawn as well. Picky has to be a little bit careful about the ground he's treading. He does not want to give up this Krieg under all circumstances, and he realizes it as well, and will back off, live to fight another day alongside his teammate, most likely. Shoker, I don't think he's going to be ready for the potential lethality that he's going to run into. Stamina, speaking of lethality, he's going to do a little bit onto Frosty K, take him out of the round. But speaking of rounds, this is already a done deal. Stamina, maybe he'll get a couple of consolation prizes, perhaps as a little bit of a parting gift. But that is all that he'll get. He'll lose his life pretty handily and make it a second for Bushido BOYZ, just like that. And Rebirth, they didn't exactly have the strongest showing on that last round. They don't have a healthy economy heading into round number 3 here, so they're just going to be stuck on pistols for the most part. Bushido BOYZ, they're looking fantastic. They're just going to treat this one as a bonus, and why not? They have all the tools to work with. You see 3 players stacking up towards B, and a little bit of damage coming up from Magician. Onto Devine, that's unfortunate. The news already wasn't looking fantastic, but it seems to be looking even worse now. Rebirth Esports, they're going for something interesting over towards apartments. It nets them nearly a kill. Devine finishes the job, but he's quickly traded out as well, and it's another eco round, another day, another defeat on round number 4 now. Rebirth Esports, again, they could potentially look for a little more damage here. They have some pistols to do it. Shoker with a Deagle, Battery with a P250. Maybe they could cause a little bit of economic damage onto Bushido. Maybe get an AK or, if they're lucky, a Krieg into their hands. But it hasn't seemed to work out in their favor so far. What's the reason for them to change things up, right? Can't count them out of it just yet, though, at least for this game. Even though this is map pick of Bushido BOYZ, you have to hope that Rebirth can show something a little more. Show a little more skin. Hopefully not Littery. I don't want to get banned from Twitch, but Battery. Nothing seems to work out for him. Unable to get away with an exit frag. It's the same story for Shoker. He actually goes down as a result as well. And that will be another quick round for Bushido. All of them have been expected. I mean, you win the anti-eco round and then you win the other anti-eco round. But now we have guns to play with, and this is where things can get a little more interesting for Bushido BOYZ. Especially if Rebirth don't play their cards correctly here. They're going to be committing 2 players immediately over towards B. Over towards mid, though. It's all smoked out. A player will jump out. That's Stamina. He will go back to the A site to meet up with his fellow comrade in arms, Battery. A little bit of prodding over towards mid, but overall Bushido BOYZ are going to immediately start taking this very, very slow in round number 4. I don't feel any particular reason to force their hand early here. They have that 3-round buffer to work with here. Shunk still on that Galil, even though he could have easily upgraded to an AK if he so desired. Spam net's a little bit of nothing. Control seems to want to be seized from the boys now, as Stamina gets flashed by his teammate up towards top mid. Knows at least one player is there, but he's not ready for the second. Doesn't matter. He'll straight transfer over to the second. Quickly take him out. Choker does him one better as well. Gorgeous play from the two players so far, as they seem to be completely broken in this round. Jonah P is going to be left alone here, but this should be a shoo-in for Rebirth to run away with a first round at last on Mirage. Jonah P's left alone, and with a Molotov, he's going to get tagged down to only 11 HP. It's the end of the line for him, surely. I'll just try to save this AWP, no reason not to. But I definitely think the hero of that round was Stamina. That spray control was pretty gorgeous to make him double kill. Jonah, that's pretty good, though. He takes down Magician. Makes things a little sweeter for him. He has to have to be careful now not to die after time. That's his real only concern. I believe that'll happen. He should be able to stay safe for the time being. No one seems to be onto his position. He'll safely stay alive. Battery, he's the closest one to causing any trouble, but even he's out of it. And with that, Rebirth Esports will get a round on the board in a rather convincing fashion as well. They only dropped 2 players, one of which was pretty much after Jonah P decided to call it quits and save that AWP. So they'll have that to work with here. Bushido BOYZ easily will be able to buy up around it. Plenty of utility to work with as well. No issue whatsoever. But keep in mind, Choker has a potentially interesting position, but he doesn't hit the shot nor the follow-up. Go ahead and make things good. Make things magic for his team, and well, unfortunate for him, his teammate goes down. That's actually so interesting from Magician. He noticed that one of the T's actually got tagged by the grenade, so he knows that at least one T is sitting in ladder room right now, and that can immediately alert his teammate Choker, who is going to go ahead, rotate, look for that pick potentially, but the T's will not abide. Bicky and Shunk, they're a small little bit of liability for their team in particular. They don't exactly have a ton of HP to work with. Rebirth Esports, they're still on the back foot though, and since BUSHIDO BOYZ still have that numbers advantage, that is so massive. Stamina has pushed up towards Palace as well, so he's going to have a very early call on whether this is going to rotate over towards A, which it doesn't seem it wants to be, though. This is looking destined to be a B split. Not even B split, just all B. BUSHIDO BOYZ being careful not to make any noise, but here comes the falls here. Magician will be the first point of contact here, with Devine going ahead and trying to keep things rational for his team, but they lose the first gunfight. Hopefully not the second, though. Devine, he's in the perfect position to find at least one. He does that, but nothing more. And Choker and Stamina, they're already out of this round. It's going to be 2-4, or excuse me, 1-4, I should say, for BUSHIDO BOYZ, as they get away with another. Stamina just going to try to save everything he has to work with, because they don't have a ton of money, the CTs. They're going to be getting, what, $1,400 for this? No, they're going to be getting a little more. I keep on forgetting that new economy system, but either way, I'm not sure if they're going to be able to get a full buy around this one. Magician and Battery, at the very least, are going to have to maybe force up pistols if they even choose to do that, but Devine, maybe he'll have a little more to work with. Nevertheless, though, BUSHIDO BOYZ look clean, only dropping a single player in the midst of that. I'm looking primed to take even another round here, because Rebirth Esports have a real challenge on their hands for round number 6. It's all looking good for them here. The force-up comes through from Rebirth Esports, and they managed to make actually a pretty good buy, all things considered. I guess I was a little bit wrong about the money that they had. They're able to get a healthy amount of utility behind it as well, so it's going to be powerful, but they've already expended a little bit towards it, or towards the A ramp, excuse me. As Shunk pushes in through connector, without a noise made, without a single step, quieter than a mouse, he'll finally start making a little bit of noise. That will alert Choker immediately, and he loses his life immediately as well! It's just everything is immediate for Bushido boys. They immediately take the ace-8, immediately get that bomb down. Everything just seems to be happening so quick as they get the round in record time, it feels like. Bomb planted as well. It's just perfect for Bushido. Meanwhile, Rebirth, now they're in a sticky position. Most rich player has 3,400 to work with here, so this is surely going to be a pistol force up for them. Indeed it is. Hopefully they have something interesting or incredible up their sleeve, because this could just easily be another round on the board for Bushido boys. We have one player in Shonk and another in, Septic. Forgot how to speak for a second. Over towards A, Shoker and the rest of his crew will decide not to push anything except for stamina. He wants to go ahead and switch things up here. There's no utility for him to work with. The only player with utility remaining is Battery over on the A site. So he can't flash his teammate up towards top mid. They can't look for any glory frags. He just has to wait for the push. The inevitable push. Bushido boys, though, all things considered, they're playing this very, very slow. I guess they don't exactly have the best read on what the economy of Rebirth is here. They're going to go ahead and try to take things towards mid. Jonah, even though he misses the first shot, doesn't get punished in the way that they would have hoped, and they lose their life immediately. Bushido boys, that's a nice flash onto Magician. Doesn't quite blind him up too much. Doesn't matter all too much, because they get the mid control that they strive for. Battery, unfortunately, undercharged for the task, loses to Septic in that duel. Passive positions don't seem to be working out whatsoever for Rebirth here. As Bushido boys actually drop a player in the form of Frosty. That's Magician's position given away, and he'll lose his life just as quickly as he seemed to tear away Frosty's. And again, it's just the end of the line. Only so much you can do in an eco round, as Rebirth are, unfortunately learning. They've had no problems, the boys. 1-6. Hopefully not 1-7. Rebirth want to stop it in their tracks right here. They're going to bring out a double AWP setup in the hands of Shoker as well as Devine. And the first frag doesn't quite go the way. Unfortunately, Frosty doesn't exactly peak as much as the enemy team would have wanted. Misses a flash and well, loses his life. This is so unfortunate. Just round after round. Rebirth Esports dropped that first player, it feels like. Constantly having to play a man down is just not a good look. On the CT side, I would have hoped that they showed a little more signs of life on this second map, but they don't seem to be doing this. It seems to be the exact opposite, if anything here. They're dropping players left and right, dropping like flies, and it's going to be another round where Rebirth are forced to save. They're already zoned out of this one. The bomb is planted, and the hopes for them to take another round slowly dissipates. Rebirth Esports desperately need to start switching things up, because whatever's happening right now is not working. They immediately lose one player, and then just kind of this domino effect seems to happen. Zeptic, at the same time, he went absolutely massive for his team, a triple in the round. Doesn't seem to want to search for more. His job is already far away done. He's just having fun with it right now. He's lining up just to... I want to see where the small top goes, if he actually throws it. Show me the lineup. Okay, never mind. He doesn't want to. Either way, though, the headlines aren't looking good for Rebirth. They give up another, and it's 7-1. They're not out of this game just yet, but it's starting to get to the point where this is a very worrying CT performance. Managed to save 2 guns heading into this next round. They'll force around it just in kind. 2 players going out towards mid. Early smoke towards top as well. 1 player drops immediately. Shoker can't miss the shot this time. Indeed, he does it. Stamina's good for another one as well, making a triple. And that's going to be a quick 3 men down. 2 versus 5 for them. Can't choke away this round, though, and they have to win in a convincing fashion, which they look primed to do. The mid pushes seem to be their best bet so far. Shoker and Battery completely took control or I don't know why I said battery. It was Shoker and Stamina completely took control of that round. It's a triple for Stamina and a double for Shoker. But you're going to need to see other people step up and do the same. Because Magician's sitting at 1 and 7, Battery 1 and 6, not much better. Devine, he has triple. The amount that Battery have, but we're going to need to see a little more because Bushido BOYZ surely at some point are going to catch on to the antics of Rebirth here and these mid pushes that they like going for so often. Doesn't seem to be the round where that happens though, as Stamina is able to pick one off seemingly for free and back off. But this is a really good start for Rebirth. This is exactly what you want to see on the CT side. They're basically doing what the Bushido BOYZ were doing to them on Nuke, getting those early 4 versus 5 advantages that almost seem to go unpunished for the rest of the round. There's still time for that to happen for the BOYZ, don't get me wrong, but they're looking to really blow our minds just yet, it seems. The rotates have already happened in from Rebirth here, as you see they dedicate 3 players over towards the A site. First face to greet the T's will be Battery, but that Krieg Scopin actually made a little bit of noise, and Zeptic, he'll bait out with a nice little shoulder shot and force the CT to back off his position, but they're getting all the kills they need. Shoker is going massive, picking up a double, and he doesn't need to force his face anymore, and if he does, he'll lose it. Now things are even more tricky for Bushido BOYZ to try to grind this round out of. Battery's actually managed to escape to the top of the palace. His position's given away, but the flash is perfect. Coming in from Devine, able to take out Shunk. Picky left alone. 1 versus 2, finds it first, but can't quite get the second. Devine clutches it out for his team in a very close fashion. AWP retrieved as well. And Rebirth Esports, it's not the most convincing victory, but it is something they can write down as a win in the end. And that was more like it. I want to see a little more of that. Shoker deciding not to go in towards the usual area. That window will this time decide go over towards connector, excuse me. Picky misses a flash. Lots of utility expended from the CTs as a response to it. A single flashbang managed to bait out so much utility. Bushido BOYZ. As he said, yeah, Bushido still have a lot of money here, so even if they lose this round in a devastating fashion, we'll have enough to buy in for at least another round, maybe 2, depending on how this one goes. Shoker. Watching towards underpass, surely Bushido BOYZ will pre-fire this or something. Well, they do, but no kills are exchanged. Both players get lit up nonetheless. Shoker will quickly rotate. Take a very passive approach to the situation though, because again, there's no need to force your hand here. The T's need to come into you. And when you manage to leg up a player so weak like that, he becomes a liability for his team. Bomb will get quickly retrieved from Bushido BOYZ, but already pushing onto A will be them as well. The T's, even though they don't have the bomb, still want to push into the site. Frosty gets tagged down and actually put down entirely. Rotates come in through CT. Now this is starting to get scary for Bushido BOYZ here. They have to push onto the A site. Well, they don't exactly have a ton of health, nor a ton of utility to work with either. One of those bits of utility will be a Molotov that goes out towards CTs, but they have no smokes. And the time is starting to inch down slower or closer and closer to the 0 mark, but they get the bomb down, which forces another artificial 40. Stamina gets a nice pick on the retake here. It's looking good for them to retake the site, but it's quickly whisked away, even if it's just a little bit, by Jonah B, who finds a nice kill with the AWP. Zeptic is in a very tough situation though. He won't manage to come out on top of it. The kills go perfectly, in line with how Rebirth would have wanted it to. And it'll be another round on the board for them. Pause comes through. Surely this is going to be a Rebirth talking about things. Perhaps it might be from Bushido as well, because even though Bushido BOYZ, they don't, I don't know, it doesn't feel like they struggled a lot when they've taken these rounds quickly. It seems that when they've taken things slower actually seems to be the thing that bogs them down the most. Top of the scoreboard currently is Picky, sitting at 12 and 5. All things considered, though, these teams are relatively even in frags. As for ADR, let's see how they're doing. There we are. 110 ADR and stamina, 126 for Picky. Definitely the two players to watch so far. Picky's going to be making his way out towards mid to greet Shoker, and unfortunately Shoker misses a shot. Kills are a bit strange. Battery manages to make Jonah burn alive in the midst of all the chaos. Not without a cost. Jonah goes down as well. Quick flurry of frags. Double up on the situation, Bushido. Rotate in towards B. Keep in mind, Bomb is going to be the one setting up this push for them, most likely. Rebirth aren't ready for it. They force a 2-2 split from the CTs. Devine's in a rotator position, though. Their anchor Magician is pushing up. And this might be the wrong call. He hears quite a bit of utility come out, so Magician's going to need to go absolutely massive here. He knows that something's coming. The Molotov misses as well. The nade will go in behind it to do a little bit of complementary damage. But this has already been a little bit scary for Magician. The fact that he got out completely unpunished, you can tell Bushido boys are definitely trying to sell this as some sort of fake. Magician still staying in the window, is able to find one kill, quickly traded out. But here comes the cavalry. Bushido boys immediately going to go ahead and try to seize this site here. Devine is ready for it though. Spot down, gets a bomb carrier with one and the double as well. Clean shots, and the AWPs do all the work. The double AWP setup seemed to work out perfectly for them. And that's more like it, really. Rebirth, that didn't seem like a crazy clincher of a round that, you had one player left alive amidst all the chaos or something of the sort. No, that was a convincing win. It didn't feel like any player had to go massively huge. It was Devine hitting some nice shots, sure, but he had backup if things went south. And Magician managed to get a kill as well. This is more like the Rebirth that I want to see. There's still 3 more rounds for Rebirth to essentially, or effectively, win this half, make it 8-7. It still would be a strong round for Bushido boys, no matter how you slice it. But Magician wants to stop that before it even begins. Devine immediately taken out by Shank as they enter the B site. That is actually a pretty hefty nade on Froste. This is going to be a retake that definitely favors Rebirth here. The only silver lining is that the positions aren't known. Magician shoots a dead body, but then gets a live one and actually makes it a second. He doubles up for his problems. Septic is going to be left alone with a deagle in hand. He actually does quite a bit of damage, picks up 2, knows where one player is, but unfortunately isn't aware of the second. And that'll be another round going the way of Rebirth Esports here. It's a little closer this time around thanks to the heroics of Zeptic. But in the end, it's another victory for the CTs. The AWPs have been working magic for Rebirth so far. They managed to keep them in their hands for a good time now. Bushido will have one more buy left into this one here. They're at max loss bonus at this point, I believe. Shoker, why did you do that Molotov? I know he was doing that Molotov to counter, yeah, well, for that reason exactly, to counter the window smoke, but I feel like it was a bit too aggressive. Doesn't matter, he's going to get kills nonetheless, and he still hasn't been traded out. He's not going to repeat for a 3rd time, lest he loses life, but when you already have 2 players gone down on the side of Bushido, there's no need to peek. The AWPs, again, as I mentioned, seem to be doing so much work. Shoker and Devine both have already picked up kills in this round, and they're searching for more. They don't need to be picky with them at the same time, no pun intended. Devine will back off into a much safer rotate position. It seems that they have some sort of read on the situation that makes them think that it's going to be B or an A execute, but it's actually towards the ladder site. Devine, blinded, still gets a shot, threads the needle on that one. And he might be able to get another one here. Froste and Picky. Froste and Picky, excuse me. We'll get that bomb down, but this is a near impossible post-plant scenario for them. They have no clue on where any of the CTs are located, and they can have so much advanced information despite all those silver linings, though. Froste is still able to come out on top with a kill. The time is starting to tick down a little bit more. This is starting to get a little bit scary for Rebirth here because they aren't really upping the momentum how they would want to. Froste's still staying alive. He's getting all the kills that he needs, but it's all for nothing. in the end, because Stamina will go ahead, drop an op to his teammate, get a creek in his hands. Battery will go ahead, finish up the job, get the defuse through. Rebirth Esports, this is quite the comeback they've mounted on the CT side here. It was 7-1 at one point, but BUSHIDO BOYZ have yet to garner together a second, or, well, an eighth, technically. Double AWP still the name of the game for Rebirth here as we enter the final round of our half. And BUSHIDO looks like they want to go for something way more aggressive here. You can see them immediately setting up for an A execute. An aggressive smoke for CTs. I'm not exactly sure if that was a play. I want to know who tossed that, because they might have just tossed around. It looks like it was Battery, judging by his position and the lack of smoke. Maybe this is some 500 IQ strat that I'm just not aware of. Again, they're the ones playing in MDL, not me. I have Discord notifications on, but doesn't matter anyway. The push is going to come in from the BUSHIDO BOYZ immediately onto the A execute. It's a lightning storm of flashes here. Battery, he's so blinded through this, and it's going to be perfect flurry of kills going the way of BUSHIDO. And just like that, they might have just secured that 8th round that seemed to be eluding them for so long. It's going to have to be another miraculous retake. But they haven't had a good track record when they already haven't had that man advantage. And yeah, it's going to be a flawless one from BUSHIDO BOYZ. They make it 8-7, just squeaking out the official half victory in the end. It's going to go ahead and give them the advantage that they're looking for heading to the CT side. Not a bad start for the boys whatsoever here. 8-7 is still incredible to post on the T side. But at the same time, this is your map pick, so I mean, you would have to hope you have that sort of confidence for it. Rebirth Esports might just talk about things as well. They seem to already show way better form than they were on Nuke. They've matched the scoreline that they had on that map. But their backs are against the wall right now. This is a moment where they need to step up or shut up. They need to force us to map number 3, which would be Overpass if it even gets to that point. Rebirth still down a map. Look to even things up right here. Looks like there was a player who dropped from the server, most likely just going to reconnect for a little bit later. In the meantime, though, I'll go ahead and try to take a quick look at the stats, see how these players have been doing for their team. One moment. Alright, right now we see Picky sitting at 15-8, Jonah 10-7, Froste 7-9, Zeptic 11-9, and then Shonk at 7-8. So immediately, just looking at the numbers, it feels like Picky has been stepping up for his team. He's sitting at 109 ADR, 17 R-dubs, nearly 18. He's been doing magic for his team. I feel like he's most definitely been the standout on Nuke so far. But there's still another whole half of Counter-Strike to play. Once these players get into the server, of course.
Counter-terrorists win.
On the side of Rebirth, we see Shoker is topping it for his team, 10-11. Then Stamina, 11-9. Still keeping up that form that we saw from him last map. Now these numbers are crazy, blow your mind and impressive. But Picky at 15-8 is pretty damn close to that. He's been doing monumental work for his team. As for people that seem to have been a little slower than I was hoping, Shonk, he's only sat at nearly 35 ADR. He's had a pretty slow half. Compared to the, on-fire Shonk that we were seeing last time on Nuke, who got, what was it, something like 25 kills in a 16-7 game. Definitely seems a little more lukewarm than normal, but I guess it doesn't matter all too much when you're sitting up 1-0 in a series and 8-7 going into the CT side. Not too bad whatsoever. Also, a quick little update on what the betting statistics were. You see Rebirth currently has 60, or not currently, but going into this match had 62.7% chance to win this, while BUSHIDO BOYZ had 37.3. As for live, though, we see that BUSHIDO BOYZ are currently favored 57.7 to 33.5. So, seems to be you know, favoring a little bit more Bushido, but the live win probability, excuse me, I can't talk for the life of me, seems to be becoming a little more even as time goes on here, because Bushido boys, they struggle to piece together those past couple rounds. In the meantime, I think if I should just toss it to some music, because it feels like this is going to be an extended halftime break as we wait for that last player to get in. Got 500 on Bushido on 2.2 odds. Picky's a friend of mine. I trust him. Well, I can't blame you for trusting him. He's been lighting it up right now. He's doing fantastic. What was it? He was a bit slow on Nuke, but again, it was a 16-7 victory. Not everyone can step up and be, you know, a living highlight reel, but he's sure as hell stepping up on this one. 15 and 8. That's incredible. I think that $500 might go ahead and work out in favor. At the same time, though, I'm a little bit worried for Rebirth Esports here. They lost their map pick in such a convincing fashion. And again, I talked with their coach, Nar, and he said that they, you know, the team felt relatively confident on Nuke despite being, you know, slapped around a couple of times. I'm just hoping that they can step up on Overpass, or excuse me, step it up on Mirage and bring us to Overpass. This is still taking quite a moment. I might go ahead and just toss it to a little bit of music, unless you guys have any questions or anything like that. I can try to answer. Otherwise, I might just, oh wait, no. Just like that, Zeptic comes back in. Makes it so you guys don't have to deal with a Q&A with me. That's always good news. Seems to be the best good news that Bushido boys have gotten in a while. The margin between these two teams is just too high, IMO. See, just basing off some of the duels that Bushido boys have taken and won, it's understandable why you'd say that. I feel like Rebirth Esports, though, they definitely have the talent. They definitely have the skill to do this. I don't know. I feel like there's some strange mistakes that are being made. But, you know, the sort of adjustments that Rebirth did towards the latter end of the first half was really good. You know, sometimes pushing two, I think they even did 3 players up towards mid one time. They're scouting for information really well. They're being careful how they're pushing into Palace. Magician, where he heard that utility noise being made, and despite missing his Molotov, he managed to stay alive. Stay alive, back up, and just like allow his team to go ahead and get the kills for him, really. And plus that double AWP setup, I feel those were all really big and nice adjustments that Rebirth Esports did. Go ahead and keep themselves alive on the CT side, but you're going to have to hope for a little bit more here as we enter the second half, the potential last half for Rebirth Esports here. It will be on Bushido boys. Go ahead, step up on the CT half. What is this? This is such a tactical approach from Rebirth Esports here. Check this out. 3 players have committed grenades, only 2 players with armor to speak of here. They're just going to be going for an immediate A execute here, and the only player to greet them will be Shank. He has to deal with the entirety of Rebirth Esports here as the retakes are just going to, or excuse me, as the CTs are just going to have to rush for a retake scenario. But Rebirth Esports have immediately slowed it down. They're not convinced yet. The bomb will eventually make its way in as Rebirth Esports spread out a little more, try to look for these picks here. 5 versus 5 as we head to the retake, and this could be something absolutely lethal. The first casualty just might be Devine here as he's down to only 7 HP, but he still wins the duel nonetheless. Coming in from behind will be Jonah P though, and this could be another potential lethal scenario though. CT slowly start pushing, and Zeptic has a kit to work with here, and at this point, this might be a little bit scary for Rebirth, but they're winning all the fights that they could possibly hope for here. They're just whittling them down one by one, and this is perfect. This is exactly what you want to see from Rebirth Esports, as they will run away with a round and even things up 8-8 on Mirage. And that's way more like it from Rebirth. That was it was a gamble stack from Bushido boys, but considering, you know, it was their chance to win a 5 versus 5 retake, Rebirth hit all the shots that they could have possibly needed. That flank from Jonah ended up falling flat in its face. Sure, you can blame some of that on a misplay from Bushido boys, but I definitely feel those were some very good adjustments and post-plant positions from Rebirth. Over toward top mid, excuse me. I cannot talk. What is going on? Probably because I haven't drank water in like 2 hours. That might help. Oh yeah, that's way better. Anyway, Jonah is going to go ahead and push out towards mid here, but that might be the last push that he does in his life. As he notices a flash go out, he'll go ahead and try to stay alive for a little bit longer. The smoke for Cat goes out. He gets a nice tag, but he'll go ahead and nevertheless back up his position. Septic, no chance in this life. That 5-7 doesn't do all the work that he was hoping for. He gets a nice stink for his troubles, but really, Rebirth Esports, this was another given round to them. The pistols don't do nearly as much damage as BUSHIDO BOYZ would have wanted, and Shunk gives away his position while trying to drop into underpass. It's a lot of dinks, in all honesty. Not too bad for the damage, but those need to be kills, not damages. Nine to 8 Rebirth officially take the lead on Mirage here. After a disastrous nuke, they seem to be definitely a little more awake for map number 2 here. Going for a gamble stack as well. BUSHIDO BOYZ. Maybe this could be a little bit more. Still, it's going to be hard to, I guess, convince me that this can really amount to anything more than just, you know, a day at the shooting range for Rebirth Esports here. They're getting a lot of utility for it. First and second, not the third though. Frag goes away of Rebirth Esports, and they're not winning some of these duels here. It was scary for a good moment there, but Stamina goes ahead and grounds them to reality. And eventually it'll be Frosty K, USP left in hand. Rebirth Esports, they only dropped 2 players, and one of which, that was from a TK. Not too bad, all things considered. I don't think he should have gotten that TK, but, well, whatever. It works. Still have a healthy economy to speak of here. No reason to worry if they're not. Devine will go ahead and toss a nice cat smoke to open things up. But you already have a player who's pushing out aggressively towards mid. I'm always such a big fan of these. Jonah and Septic combined to pick up 2 kills. And it's actually Shunk, excuse me, who steals that. Over towards window, forcing the hand of Rebirth Esports here, as BUSHIDO BOYZ have taken a lot more of an aggressive stance towards this one, and definitely forcing the hand of Rebirth now. Shoker, excuse me. Why do I keep saying Shunker? Shoker has no chance of life as he drops immediately at the hands of Jonah. Battery, not much better for his wear either, and that is going to be a quick and lethal retake for BUSHIDO BOYZ as they make it a quick 9 to 10, keeping things clean, keeping things competitive on Mirage.
Bomb has been defused. Counter-terrorists win.
I really do feel like neither of these teams are really ready for the aggression, this sort of crazy aggressive play that some players on BUSHIDO BOYZ were doing. Rebirth as well, you know, they're guilty of doing the same thing that BUSHIDO BOYZ were doing. They went for those same kind of mid-prods that we saw from them before. But at some point you have to realize, you know, when are these teams going to start getting it together? Start realizing that these aggressive plays do seem to be happening so often from players like Jonah, who's still going to be trying to do the same thing and still nets 80 damage. You owed us that match? What do you mean I owed you that match? What? Oh, wait, yeah, you guys had another playoffs match this time around. I forgot. I'm so sorry. I really should have, huh? Brian, I'll get your next one. Did you win? Whoo! Holy hell, did you guys win? Rebirth are hoping for the same sort of victory. But it's already going to be way more competitive than that. Stamina pushing up Cat. Look at this aggressive acquisition from Jonah. Would have said it would have come back to haunt him, but it seems it doesn't. He actually hits a gorgeous shot onto Magician, taking him out of the round. His next stack is going to be disappearing. That is unbelievable. Fancy shot. Devine doesn't have much of a chance either. Shoker and Battery alone, one of which is on 20 HP, and Shunk might be in the perfect position to shut down any sort of attempt. Indeed, it is done and dusted. BUSHIDO BOYZ stomp Rebirth in round number 20. Heading into round 21, it's not looking great. Rebirth are going to have to force everything that they possibly have, and they're not even going to bother. They're just going to go ahead and half buy into this one, maybe buy a couple of upgrade pistols. It seems that they want to go for an A execute, just judging by the amount of utility. And wow, they've actually decided to fully buy into this one. I'm surprised. I would have thought it was only going to be a half buy. They've committed pretty much all that they've got. Devine has a Glock. He's stuck on a Glock. This is going to have to be an absolute miracle of an A execute here, and it's already not off to a great start. Jonah, while blind, still gets a kill onto Battery. They'll drop the bomb over towards site. If they can secure the bomb plant, it wouldn't be all too bad. And indeed, they will do that. So that's something to work with. This retake will come in, and surely Bushido BOYZ will win it. I don't see any future why they don't. But that's a good start. Lots of good tag damage onto Frosty K. Gets him down to 8 HP. Still other players to worry about. Thank God for the crossfires there. Keeps everybody on Rebirth alive. Stay just for a little bit longer. Keeps them alive and kicking to try to possibly win this round. The defuse is already through though, and that's it. It's done and dusted. A little bit of, you know, complimentary spam will go through the smoke, but that's just what's so important about having a lot of utility late round like that, and having that player advantage as well, having the better artillery. Rebirth couldn't really afford to take a lot of those fights, and they practically had to give that defuse to Bushido BOYZ. Because of that, Bushido BOYZ will take back that lead, make it 11-10. Still very competitive for Rebirth, and they're going to choose to force into this one again. They like their chances that they had on that last, and want to go ahead, give it another go. Give it another stab, and hopefully not get stabbed. I'm surprised I haven't seen a lot of knife shenanigans, to be totally honest. I've seen quite a few pistol shenanigans here. They're just bursting out, water falling onto the A site, but it's just nothing. It's nothing. It's nothing. I can't even say more than that. They drop a single player, but it feels like they're dead by the time they even hit the ground. It's a massacre on Mirage, as it's now 12 for Bushido BOYZ. That force up was nothing short of weak from Rebirth. Rebirth will definitely take things a lot slower now that they have more artillery to work with. It'll be an AWP in Jonah's hands, who actually wants to push up. Jonah P is looking an awful lot like JW right now with how aggressive he's taking some of these pushes and still staying alive throughout it. He should change his name to JP. Just saying. Bushido BOYZ have committed 3 players over towards the A site and only have Picky and Jonah over towards B, both of which have been doing a good job anchoring. Picky, I just realized, hasn't really found many kills in the second half. I don't actually, wait, has he found a single kill in the second half? I guess it doesn't matter because he has the lead, but he was a top fragger heading into this point of the game, and even though he's been quiet, everyone else on his team has just done miraculous work for them. I mean, that's the life of being a B anchor, though, really. Sometimes that just happens. Entire rounds just occasionally happen without you. And this might be just the same case. Because as they're boosting into window, this nade could be gigantic, but Zeptic gets caught with his pants down and loses his life. Stamina capitalizes and gets another. What a fantastic play from him to find that double and crack that A site wide open. Magician damages his teammate a little bit, but still gets a kill. And oh my god, Jonah P, what are you doing? They're just walking into his line of sight over and over him. They lose it! How did they lose that? The AWPs are so good. I figured that was going to be at the very least a plant. I cannot believe they lost that. Bushido BOYZ steal that one away, and yeah, Nart is going to be giving them a stern talking to right now, because that was unbelievable. Okay, maybe he would have lost in the post plant or something of the sort. But not even getting the bomb down in that scenario, that is crazy. It's this late into a game as well. You cannot be giving up rounds like that. Nart, again, probably going to be having a stern word. Everyone else on Bushido BOYZ, though, they're probably going to be just, patting themselves on the back after that one. Really, even though that was a little bit of a slugfest, I can't help but say that was kind of crazy from Bushido boys at the same time. Jonah P hit some crazy good shots. Kept his team in it, and the Krieg, well, this is exactly one of the reasons why I think it's just so scary to put in the hands of anyone that's not on the T side. Yeah, if you have it on the T side, it's still a very scary weapon to work with. Now we'll see Picky finally getting some action over here on the B site, but it's actually the first point of contact being Zeptic. They both pick up a frag apiece here, and Picky's able to get one more before he's finally taken care of, but it's Battery left alone 1-on-3, and he's soon to be exterminated, surely, as this is going to be a very, very hard clutch for him to win. Not made much easier by him going down just like that. Jonah P just crouch walks into him and takes him down. 17 kills on the board for the man. He is doing fantastic. And Bushido boys, they're looking like a well-oiled machine at this rate. Rebirth are struggling so hard. It's really hard to understate how much they have stumbled on this T half in the past couple of rounds. But we're hoping maybe to see something a little more. They've already shown way more signs of life than we saw from them on Nuke. Surely they can't be out of it just yet. It's not looking promising, but maybe we can see a change of fortune. Shank watching for jump peaks, notices a bunch of smokes coming out here, and he's going to quickly set down his nice welcome mat of fire. He'll be in a perfect position on top of CT Ticket Booth to deal with one player. Tags him down to 50, but will soon back up. Devine drops the bomb over to his teammate. Make sure to get it down this time, guys. You guys haven't even picked it up, for God's sakes. There we are. Septic actually finds 2 kills, and oh god, they don't even get the bomb down. This is nightmare. It's gotta be the end of the line for Rebirth at this point. They forced up into that one. They took the A site, but they didn't get the bomb down throughout the entire part of that. The smokes were dissipating through the latter end of that, but they didn't even set themselves up for victory whatsoever, and Bushido boys just massacre them. Rebirth are going to pull together everything that they possibly can. It's a lot prettier than it was in round number 25, as we enter potentially the last of this series. Bushido want to end it right here, right now. Shank and Zeptic pushed up towards the A ramp. You see Froste. He's watching Connector perfectly. Gets the perfect kill on top of that. And it's just bad news bears. That's a good actual response frag from Magician. He actually does him one better as well. Doubles up for his trouble. They know a player is over towards the A ramp, and they know a player is in towards CT, and they're both stepping up massively. It's a 2 versus 2. They both chime in with kills. This might be the end of the line for Stamina, because he's not there to receive any of them. The CTs just rain terror upon Rebirth Esports as we enter the potential last round, last player alive for Rebirth here. This is going to have to be a glorious round, for Stamina. He's topping the scoreboard on his team by a good margin as well. But he's going to need to add 2 more kills. He's going to need to make it 21 if he wants to have a chance of winning this round. 40 seconds and the bomb to play with. No utility to speak of, though. Shank and Picky, they can play this as slow as they possibly want. They now know that the location and the setting is going to be this B site. Stamina tries taking this fight over towards Cat. He wins the first one. Picky is not there to trade things out here, so he's going to try to run away with his life. Picky's not there. Now Stamina can get into another interesting position. Stamina, he's at 20, needs to make it 21 here. Picky doesn't know where their position is, and Stamina is going to win it, keeping his team alive despite all odds. Drags his team through this one. We're going to need to see a lot more life out of Rebirth, though, because you cannot rely on magic like that from Stamina. It was an incredible play by him, but you cannot count on that. He's the one stepping up for his team, if no one else. Magician has had his moments of, glory. Everyone else seems to have just kind of fallen flat in comparison. Devine on 11, Battery 12, Shoker 13. Shoker had a fantastic first half as well, all things considered, but he seems to have just completely been muted for the second. Bushido boys go right back to their default. There's no reason for them to force their hand either. Jonah is going for his courtesy peek out towards mid, spots nothing, will back up towards connector, holds in an aggressive stance, and this is actually a smoke that benefits Rebirth more than anybody else. I think he heard a couple of footsteps from Magician. Smoke goes through, Jonah backs off the position once more. Again, no reason to even bother. The aggressive positions seem to be a little bit more risky now from Bushido BOYZ, as you see Picky has pushed up through apartments right now, looks away at the wrong time and loses his life. Luckily, Jonah will respond with a kill in kind, but he's going to have to be forced to rotate it over. Excuse me, he's going to be forced to rotate over to the B side, excuse me. The push hasn't started yet from Rebirth Esports, and this hesitation, if they end up coming to the B site in the end, it might cost them. Magician's in a perfect place, though. This could be very big position as well. Jonah, timing isn't in his favor. Magician is in a strong place, but the bomb is making its way out towards B in the end. Through the fire and the flames, they seem to carry on. Magician, no chance of life in this time. Excuse me, in this round. Septic, he deals perfectly with all three of them! Closes it out with fashion for the Bushido BOYZ, and that's going to be a 2-0 victory for them. How... That is such a perfect summary of what this game was, it feels like. Rebirth just lose it at that last moment. They take so long to actually push into the B site. Magician falls flat on his face towards connector, and it's just a gorgeous kill, a gorgeous triple kill hold at the very end of it. Will allow Bushido BOYZ to stay alive. And Rebirth, unfortunately, will not have a chance to go to map number 3. Thank you guys so much for watching. My name has been Ito. That was a fun match of cast. It was really just kind of a spur of the moment sort of thing. I was not expecting that whatsoever. I was not expecting to cast a match whatsoever, I should say. That will be the end of me. If you guys have any questions, feel free to put them in chat. I'll answer them as we fade out. But other than that, I hope you guys have a good night. And thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you soon.